I hope you are doing well. We are back again with some Dragon Age shenanigans. I hope y'all are ready. Hold on to your butts. There's gonna be some flirting, if we're honest. I mean, that's probably what's gonna be happening. Going heart to heart, starts and emotions. It's a Dragon Age game. We had our week off last week for Go Dark Week, so we are back again. I'm very excited to bring this lovely story to you all. I am going to read our little content warning that we do at the start, and as was pointed out by Amril last week, yes, I read out a content warning about heavy content, and then it was just a session of flirting, and that might happen again. I'm not going to apologize for that. There will be heavy things eventually. So the world in which this game is set is one that is known to many. It is a world where there are a great many injustices and wrongs which need fought against. As such, there are topics that will come up against, including oppression, fantasy racism, prejudice against mages, and imbalances of power which often become violent. We recognize that in telling the story of oppression and genocide against groups of people, it reflects the many tragic atrocities that are occurring in our world as we speak. While we feel that the stories of a fight against oppressive rule are important to tell, the health and happiness of our viewers are also crucial. As such, it is important that you all know the content of the story that we will be telling here so that you have the agency to choose whether to watch along with us as we tell the story of a fight against such powers, but equally you can turn off the story should you need to in order to preserve your own comfort. The group and I have discussed at great length our lines and veils when approaching this content, and active use of safety tools will be being used. We would urge you to also take care of your own comfort levels. That being said, let us now tell a story of hope in dire times and the fight for justice and flirting. As we go around, we're going to be introducing ourselves and our characters. I also gave my players a question about the scene in which we will be joining everybody. To start with, I am Emma, or Hamalu on the internet. I am your storyteller for this season. So if my players could now introduce themselves. Thank you very much.
Hello, I am Torn, or Torn Talks Creativity on the internet. My pronouns are she, they. I am playing Genevieve Devour, and her pronouns are she, her. So as far as what my question was, as we're leaving in the ship, going out to sea, I happen to see these two men, and they look like they're gambling, and they were hitting each other in the face, some kind of slap game, but it was with fish. Is this some weird, like, cookware thing? Is it a Frelden thing that came over? I know y'all like weird, like, games with, like, and you sleep with dogs and things like that, but why are they hitting each other with fish? I don't understand this. And that is what we see as we leave.
Bravo. Next.
Hey everybody, my name is Val. I use any and all pronouns, but I'm in a she-they kind of mood today. I play Theowyn, who uses she, her, and I was given the question, what do you hear as you're debarking, as we're debarking here? Well, disbarking, debarking? It's okay. I've had a week.
We're setting sail.
We're setting
Yeah.
sail.
Yeah.
Well, clearly it is the sound of sea birds screaming mine as as poor Craig, who has a little bit of seasickness, spews over the edge, and they're into it. Yeah, the flock.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Theowyn's
it's like
there.
normally you see like a fishing boat will go, and you can see the seabirds coming after it because they know that they might get a treat from the deck. Now this time they're okay. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. So I don't know if everyone's been out to sea, but that happens. Like...
Incredible. Next.
Hey guys, I am Alice, they, them pronouns right now. And I am playing Flora Aeneas, who also uses they, them pronouns. The question Hamalu gave me today is, what is the weather like? It is cold, especially for this time of morning, which is right on with the season. Fog rolling in high, practically covering the docks. Everyone needs to make sure they are watching where they are going. Pretty overcast. Not sure if it's just rain in the forecast or just clouds. The sun hasn't broken through yet, but
Amazing. Everyone needs a buddy system, clearly.
Yes.
That's
No one falls off the docks.
Yeah. Wonderful. Next.
Hi, everybody. I am Mary. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me online at Nerd on Wheels 15 or the Nerd on Wheels, depending on your social media of choice. I am playing Eviana. Her pronouns are she, her. And my question was, what is something strange going on the deck? And I think that as the boat is kind of creaking and just shifting to being able to move on the water, there is and probably mages, even non-mages can almost feel it. There's this strange, almost like buzz that happens on the deck. And if you look very closely, these different water droplets from the dew and the ocean waves almost look as though they're helping move the ship forward. You'd have to look very, very closely, but it's almost like the different elements like swirling together. If you focused on it too much, it could almost like hypnotize you with how the movement worked. But there's definitely some strange magic going on.
Love that. Yes, indeed. And last but certainly not least.
Oh my gosh. Hi, I'm Ella. My pronouns are she, her. Of relevance, even at this early point in the game, is that I love boats, and I didn't even request a boat, and we've got a boat, and I'm just so happy about that. Anyway, my question, I'm just taking this whole thing as a treat for me specifically. Thank you, Hamalu.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's all about me. My question was, what's the smell? I mean, we do have one like little hint of a smell that's coming from one direction of the ship, which I'm not going to describe in detail because I might not be the only person who is emetophobic here. But I'm going to lean away into instead the docks. It smells of fish and silt, and wood and smoke and kind of the early morning sense of people getting ready for their breakfasts. There's some fried fish skewers that people are hawking on the docks to people just arriving. A couple of people are brewing some OT salty broths to get ready to go out, or just having come back from the day. Herbal teas made with elf fruit and spindleweed and other things that smell sweet and bitter. And as we move out, the bright, salty, fresh scent of the ocean greets us.
Mm-hmm. As somebody who lives in a coastal city, it is my favorite scent in the whole wide world. Is when you reach the coast and you're like, that salty air. It's my favorite. Very good. Well done, everybody. So, as ever, I start with a section from the Chant of Light. Those who oppose thee shall know the wrath of heaven. The sea shall rise and devour them. They shall cry out to their false gods and find silence. Interesting. Last session, we got to finally meet our spirit healer, Matty, who was run ragged serving the people of Darktown. As she returned to the base, she was informed about the job they would be going on, and we get to see some delightful push and pull between her and Genevieve. Theowen successfully makes a lemon cake, and Flora and Aviana successfully tease Craig. Transfer to Icon was secured in the form of Gomordan's Might. The group now also have a new member, a fluffy chonker by the name of Lemon Meringue Pie. We also saw a touching heart-to-heart with Matty and Aviana. We love to see mages supporting mages. We closed with the realization that there is not one, but two other mages aboard this ship. What could possibly go wrong? Now it is time to set sail on the waking sea and head towards the party town of Thetis. Welcome! So, we have indeed set sail. We have quite overwhelming scents and sights going on, and fish slapping game happening on on the shoreline over in the docks. And aboard the ship, you guys, particularly our mages, can feel that thrum of energy that seems to be happening. And, you know, it does give you the impression that some sort of magic is going on, but you can't see anybody up on the deck that is doing this necessarily. There's a few people who are doing the other regular jobs, making sure that the sail is set and fully unfurled to catch that wind and get a bit of movement going. Yeah, you're not sure what that is. You can sense that it's happening, though.
Can I? And I'm more than happy to do a roll for this. Can
Mhm.
I ask Hope if they have any idea what this is? Like, if like from a spirit perspective, it's more obvious what's going on.
Absolutely, because maybe it is just a veil thing and not actually cast magic. Absolutely, yeah. You can check in. How would you normally get Hope's attention?
Well, so what I was thinking in terms of mechanics was it would make sense for it to be like a spirit focused magic roll, and so then from the mechanics, the role play I think is that like Maddie would kind of like find somewhere a little bit away from everyone else, which I imagine is a bit difficult on deck of a ship that's pretty busy right now, but like
A little bit.
as far as she can get away from anyone else, like at least like 30 centimeters,
Yeah.
and just kind of shut her eyes and try to like not like fully meditate, but like find like a point of calm.
Mhm.
And then from there, like kind of, I guess, like let anything in, like
Mhm.
internally.
Mhm.
And you know, if Hope is paying attention to her, then Hope will show up, and if they're not, and they're busy, then they won't. I guess.
Absolutely. Yes, make that roll. I'd like to think that mages, there is a way of essentially opening yourself up to the veil. You are one of the many points on Thetis where you can weaken that connection between the veil and the real world. With a 15, you do indeed manage to kind of close your eyes, center yourself, and rather than grounding yourself the way a person might when they're meditating, you instead try to do the opposite when you're trying to tap into the veil. You have to kind of let go of the physical to connect to the metaphysical in a way. So yeah, you kind of close your eyes and you feel that presence around you, letting you know that your friend Hope is nearby.
I like to think that the movement of the ship and the water and the wind kind of helps and makes this a bit easier. Like as
Mm-hmm.
Maddie shuts her eyes and like lets herself be like moved along with all of this and stops trying to resist it and hold herself in one place, like it
Yeah.
helps. But yeah, she goes, "Hey, there's like something weird going on here. Are you noticing that too?"
Yes, I can feel the influence of the veil here. Someone is using magic.
Like, and when we're talking about the flavor of this magic, is this like scary demons, Tevinter, slaving blood magic, or is it more like kind of chill,
Oh no,
cool
it's
magic?
very chill. It's like turning the elements into favorable conditions, I think.
Huh.
It feels peaceful, but I can't sense a worry.
Do you know which of the mages is doing it? Is it the Canaria or is it the other one, the elf?
Give me a moment. And you feel the presence is still very much there, but it's almost like a slight detachment from that connection that you have with Hope. A little bit of distance. You still feel that floatiness of the connection between you, and eventually, you feel that presence returning. It is an elf.
Interesting.
They
Thank
feel
you.
sad.
Sad.
Yes.
Huh. Sad to be leaving here, or kind of a longer term sadness?
It feels quite old.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Thank you.
I didn't get too close because I didn't want to worry them.
No, we wouldn't want to give them a scare, but hey, if nothing else, I can offer checkups. I find that sailors love a checkup after they've just been in port.
I hope you enjoy that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It depends on how much, I don't know, body positivity they've been taught in childhood, but yeah, all right.
This is fun. You feel the sort of like the rather floaty presence of Hope detaching and returning back to their normal resting space of the other side of the veil.
I think like as they go, there's just kind of like a figurative, metaphorical magic whatever, Maddie kind of like patting them on their metaphorical back, squeezing their metaphorical shoulder, and just kind of warmly just saying, have fun. I think that's something that Maddie does appreciate about this crew, that for whatever reason seems to be like very emotionally well adjusted for the standards of Thedas. That she like really hopes that Hope enjoys being around people who are like kind of optimistic for once, instead of the kind of perma cynicism of Kirkwall.
Yes, yeah. Kirkwall is not a happy place for a hopeful spirit.
No.
Okay, excellent. What is everyone else doing as we're sort of settling in? We are officially moving in on water, and as you feel yourself pulling away and Kirkwall starts to get ever more distant, and however you feel about Kirkwall, it is slowly disappearing behind you. Is anyone up to anything specific right now? You haven't claimed your bunks yet, I will say.
Yeah, and I think honestly, Genevieve is, now that she's on the ship and there's no way we can get off it without dire consequences, is, looking around, just kind of scoping out the nooks and crannies. Like, what does the ship do? I wonder. What do they carry? As under the guise of just, oh, do we put our bags here? Oh, can I help with anything? Is there
I
something
was looking
jobs
for
we
a
can
bedroom.
do?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. How did I get here? How terrible.
Sure. Which skill would you like to activate in your search?
I was going to say I have searching and I also have investigation. So I'm not sure which one was more apt here.
If you're just looking around, you're searching. Investigation is looking for something specific that is hidden that you're trying to uncover. Okay, so it depends your motivation, I suppose.
Yeah, I mostly just want to see, what traps are here? Like, did they leave something out for us to kind of like get a feel on us? Like, are they going to take it?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So like some people do a magic-y vibe check of the place. You're doing a very rogue focused vibe check of this place. I understand. Roll searching for me then, please.
All right, I've clicked it, and let's
16.
see if I can find roll.
Oh, grandmother,
nice.
excellent, well done. Okay. Good. Yes, you will uncover a few things, I suppose. It seems that there is a few crates towards the back end when you actually go down into the actual hull of the ship, and I mean, would you want to try and prize them open to have a look inside, or are you content just seeing that there are crates there?
For the moment, content to just see them. Is there any heraldry on the outside of them? Anything like that?
Okay. No. They have the sort of energy. If you try to like move one of the smaller ones with your foot clearly full of something, it's heavy enough. There is no branding on any of it, which can be good because you may have been on a ship before and you kind of look under a cover and you see that less so about heraldry when you're on this particular sea, but more so you see the mark of like the Waking Sea Raiders, and you're like, oh, we're that kind of
that's what I'm wondering. Like, is there no markings, thus don't touch that? Like, you know what I mean? Like lack of markings is almost scarier.
Lack of markings. When you get towards the back, there's a sort of very particular mustiness is the wrong word because it's not necessarily stale, but you can tell that there's like food product being stored towards the back end. Looking around, you can see that there is a section where there are small rooms that are likely for the crew, and then the front end of that is where there's just a bunch of hammocks. You guys have been given one side of the ship that has a sort of essentially like a room that has a bunch of hammocks along the side, so you'll all be kind of squashed in together. Oh no. The other side has a few more spaces for the crew and their stuff, but they have moved things out of the way given that you guys are quite sizable enough in number that they kind of free up a little bit of room for you to stay in. Up on deck, most people seem busy at the moment, but I will say with your good roll, you're gonna see in a section down below deck, there's a room, there's a door closed to it, and you can tell that someone is in there doing something. You are not mage, so you're not going to be able to pick up on the kind of vibes that anyone else could. But you can hear some. It's almost like chanting, which
Yeah.
people can do this religious.
I mean,
it's
I've
really
been
something going on.
around mages. Not
You
that I would know what
have.
they're saying. Would I get kind of like a like that's not a worried chant as far as just like, oh maker, please help me kind of thing.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
there's a melodic kind of sing-songness to it. Anything kind of like that.
Hard at work sound, I would say. It's the best way to
Ayo.
describe that.
I'm
Ayo.
sorry. All right. Okay. Oh, what I
So you've at least uncovered the room that's happening in. You can, if you want to, try to kind of go up because when you're on a ship, especially when you're on salty water and wood will warp slightly, you could probably try and peek in if you wanted to, or you can leave it for the privacy.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I would. She would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll me another. It's a perception. It's a seeing check with this one. So if you don't have seeing, then you're just rolling
don't.
perception.
Perception. Okay. Let me pull up roll 20. 19.
Ooh. Yeah, you can see in this room. It seems to be kitted out that this is someone's personal space.
Okay.
And you can see the elf male, it seems. Like the hair's not even blonde, it's almost like white, very pale skin, and a big burn mark across their face and up slightly one of their ears, and on their hand on that side, on the left hand side. And you see, and especially with the glowing that seems to be happening, and it seems to be focused down at the wood beneath their feet. You see him casting magic. Yes. The exact nature of it, you're not necessarily going to be able to tap into, but it's quite clear that he is in there, focused and casting magic. Yep.
Okay. She will very quiet, like take stock of it, very quietly just back up, like, oh, didn't see anything strange.
Yeah.
And then seek out. I think I would probably I think she would probably tell Floor about it.
As you're kind of coming away from that area and away to head up the stairs again, can you roll me a stealth roll?
Okay, I don't have that. Shockingly enough.
This
is dexterity.
What kind of rogue are you? I'm kidding.
A Norwegian one.
I know, yeah.
I don't want to not be seen. 11.
Oh. Yep. You are sort of pulling away from that room and about to turn and head up the stairs to go and find your crew and to find Floor. And as you do, you realize that not only was your kind of sneaking around unsuccessful, but you turn and take a couple of steps and realize you're about to run into the very tall form of the Kunari first mate.
Oh damn! I was hoping it was
perhaps.
Sorry, what?
It seems by the general position and arms folding has been quietly watching you do that.
This is the female tall, like life Kunari, correct?
It is indeed.
I wrote her
Rashala.
name down. I'm so sorry. It's not
It's
Betty.
Rashala. No, Rashala's the Kunari. Yeah. Betty is the Avar woman.
Yeah, the one we first met. Okay.
Yeah.
And just
this one.
Good morning.
Just to visually describe it, I did it last time, but just a reminder. She's tall and quite lithe, has red hair that's kind of pulled up into a messy bun, and horns that go back, and they are really quite pronounced and large. Even by like other Kunari center that you've seen, these are big, long ones, and they actually have a second branch to the back of them as well. And she's just leaning against the wood whilst watching.
Yeah, I think she'll just like, yeah, good morning. I see that I chose well for our group.
How so?
Like-minded people.
Gives you a look up and down. And spying in someone's room alerted you to that, yes?
Like a bunch of people on a ship will not do the same with the people that they have now on their ship that are not a part of their crew. I don't believe you would say you wouldn't.
What did you see that makes you feel that way?
someone that reminds me of my group. In a very positive way. I mean that very nicely.
Try not to spy on people from now on.
I only need a day to do it. Promise.
She like stepped slightly out of the way, said if you want to, you can go up the stairs now.
Have a good day. Let me know if you need anything. I will answer any of your questions.
How many?
Oh, can we make it a game? How about this? You can get 2 questions and I will get 1. I can put it in your favor. It's unusual for an Asian.
You don't strike me as a normal Arlesian.
I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
How many do you have?
I would say more than you, I think. That is one question.
But it wasn't a very good answer.
I didn't say the quality of the answers, nor the quality of the questions.
Noted. What's your question then?
Do you not want to ask me a second one? I said 2 for 1.
I'll ask mine after yours.
Okay. How many do you have? I've seen 1. Excellent, thank you. Can I tell if she's lying to me?
You can roll an insight roll, which is perception, empathy, please.
Okay, I have empathy. Thank God. All right. 20.
Oh. She's telling the truth. There are 2 aboard.
For your honesty and trust, I will tell you that there are 4.
Why are you going to Wycombe?
Personal, wanting to right some wrongs in my way. Very fun way.
Define fun.
Well, so for most auditions, I would say it's very cool in some ways. Mine is more the let's at least everyone laugh at once. You know, I may laugh a little longer, but we're all going to get some giggles out of it.
Well, wish you luck with that then.
Thank you. Also, thank you for bringing us aboard and giving us some trust. Please, on it.
A bit of advice. And she actually stepping closer when she says this, which she's quite the
She's
towering
much
type.
farther away,
Because-
but I don't think she would back off.
Yeah.
Genevieve wouldn't. In fact, she might lean into it and try to make it uncomfortable.
Okay.
It's kind of like, yes.
Yeah, she doesn't budge. It's like when fighters are like squaring off. Yeah.
But like I think Genevieve would be like, here's a flower for you. Like it would just be an absolute different vibe.
Yeah. She's bringing Zevran energy to this. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Keep your Tevinter folks away from him, and she'll kind of, her eyes will indicate the room.
Understood. I will say they are, of course, like me from other areas, right? Countries. But I think they will have some traits that are preferable to the rest. But understood, I promise we will.
I don't doubt it. And if they're traveling with a crew like yours, I can only presume they are not like the rest of their countrymen, but that doesn't make it any less triggering for him.
It's true. Absolutely. I understand. Can I ask one more question?
Mm-hmm.
Are you followers of the Kyun? Are you like your countrymen as well?
No. No, we are
Understood.
not.
And definitely sees a smile like on Genevieve's face. Genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Actually
Mm-hmm.
genuine smile. Not a like
She,
shit,
like-
shit eating grin. Yeah.
Yeah. Holds your gaze in like a stern kind of way for a moment, arms still crossed, but then will smirk back at you.
Good to
Yeah.
know. Thank you. I hope you have a good day, and please let me know if you need anything. I promise the sneaking will be to a minimum, okay? I can't promise none. It's in my nature. But minimum. Au revoir. She'll just like, like a little gag
Roll
too
her
for
eyes
his
at the
ears.
Legion, yeah. And just kind of like stands and waits for you to head off, and then you're not sure where she goes after that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yes, we'll absolutely let Flora know.
Okay.
Because
So
I think she'll
you're
react, or sorry, they will react the least.
yeah. Excellent. So as you head off to find Flor, what is Theowen and or Aviana doing?
Who would like to go?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I started talking. Now Theowen has 2 puppies to take care of.
Yes.
Like, she hasn't named one yet, but the other one is Craig. So she is who is starting, not quite found his sea legs yet, clearly. Weirdly enough, for someone who's definitely never been on the ocean, Theowen's fine. Her inner ears are perfect. Like, so she's
Yeah.
gonna like, we should take you down and find some bunks, okay?
He's gonna turn around and look at you.
Let's find our bunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Who in theory he has found his sea legs, and they're incredibly unsteady.
Yeah. They're there.
He kind of he tries to like stand up a little bit and like has to hold on. Bunks, yeah, let's go. Let's
I will like go to his side and sort of like put my arm like around his waist to help steady him as I walk, like unassuming. Yeah. And then there's a dog in the other. She hasn't put it down.
Well, you've got like a little harness thing, so you can hold the top of the harness, and it's like
yeah, I'm just like, holding the harness, like surprisingly, incredibly balanced in this moment, like to find the cabins. Yeah.
Yeah, you head down below deck and head down to the front end where you can see that there are a number of hammocks here. There is a section which is kind of against the flatter wall rather than the one that curves like the ship. And it's got a sturdier bed rather than being in a hammock that swings. It's a steady one. Now, in theory, you actually want to be in a hammock that swings because then you're kind of moving with the ocean and you don't get knocked about quite so much. So it's up to you. Where are you going to direct your poor sick puppy?
Is it like a bunk bed or?
Yes, there's 2. There's one that's up higher and one that's at the bottom. There's 4 of those, and then there's some hammocks along the curved wall.
I will like sort of steady Craig and look at him. So, are you a top or a bottom?
I kind of just want to
let's get you down at the bottom.
The floor
I think
an
that'll
option?
be easier
Okay.
for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Come on, it's okay.
Bottom sounds good, and he just sort of like flops onto one. This isn't helping. He says as it's moving.
Here, and I just give him the dog.
Oh, thank you.
Don't throw up on him. Do you need anything?
I don't think I've got anything left, Theowen.
Okay.
Just sort of like rests his head on the dog. Maybe some water. Do we have water? Is there?
I don't. I guess so. I can go find you. I can go find you some water and maybe like some crackers or some toast or something.
Mm-mm. No,
Okay.
I don't want to eat anything right now. Thank you.
Do you want something salty to rehydrate you properly? Because you can't like have water like that won't hydrate you properly. You need the thing that plants crave as well.
That sounds smart. Sure.
Okay, I'll go, but you don't want to drink seawater. That will make things terrible for you. So I will go find something or someone that can help you. You know, I hear that like chewing sort of helps. So you don't have to swallow anything. Do you want something to chew?
Sure.
Okay, I'll go find you some
I
water
mean,
and something
I
to chew.
trust you, Eowyn. You're very smart and capable, and I will do whatever you think is best.
Okay. I'll be right back. Don't die. And I'll turn around to go on an adventure to find remedies like some ginger root maybe for him to chew on or something.
You can find something that's probably definitely ginger root, yeah.
Yeah, like it's like have you ever had like a ginger candy maybe? Just maybe that'll help him.
Sounds sensible. Yeah, you can go rummaging. If you want to do a quick I guess you're searching for something right now, or do you want to do investigating?
Let's see. Let's find Roll20. There's my character sheet. I also have so searching is what?
It's a perception. They're both in perception.
Perception, so. Okay. Why don't I have a number in perception?
Maybe you just have 0. You know what? It's still an 11 with a 3 stunt, so I'll say you're able to at least find some ginger root. And a wart.
I asked somebody. I was like, "Can I get some ginger? Like, my friend is not okay." I could have. He came from Starkhaven, so he should have been on the sea before. I don't know. It's okay. He's baby. We will get him some ginger root.
He is baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to think.
Oh, sorry.
You may be having the same thought of me, that of like I'd like to think that Theowen passes the healers twice.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And didn't even
both of them for the record.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like I don't know if we could like say that we could like roll or something to hear that Theowen is walking around the ship looking for medical remedies.
Yeah,
and we might be like, hey.
You
also,
can certainly
roll. I just want Genevieve to hear this and be laughing. Like, I don't want to help.
I imagine, anyone who wants to, please roll me. It is hearing, which is in perception. If you don't have a focus, just roll perception and see if you notice the escapades going on. So something you definitely do.
That's an 18.
Yeah. Two 18s, both with 5 point stunts. Yeah.
I got a 9, so Maddie doesn't care.
Maddie is just distracted with something else, absolutely. But yes, Genevieve and Aviana, absolutely. You can hear can I get some ginger? My friend is like, you can hear the requests going to like the crew of this ship. Yeah.
There's like it's like telephone at this point though, so like the request keeps going from like person to person, and it's so far from gingery by the time it gets to y'all. Like,
I think Genevieve isn't even helping at this point. I think she's just kind of like pushing Aviana a little bit forward, like go help them, but it's laughing too hard.
Genevieve might even just like poke your head and just to look at the sorry state of Craig right now, who's just like, his head is fully buried into the fluff of this dog, like just holding it on his lap.
And I think if she catches his eye, just like like that, like, oh, you sick? Oh no!
I can't see you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, your mucking is lost on him.
Oh my god! But she, anyway, go ahead.
She can't hear anything. He's
Aviana for a little bit.
Yeah, Aviana will. This is why it takes her so long to actually pick her bunk. So I don't think she necessarily chooses which one she goes to, but she will eventually find Theowen and just be like, okay, I heard you needed some things. What in particular? I've heard a variety. Um,
Yeah, he just needs something to suck on. He's not doing very well, like ginger candies, or
oh, okay. Did not. Okay. I think like Iviana just like
I
pinches
read
the
it
bridge
in
of
a
her
book
nose for
once
a
that it
minute.
helps nausea, and that's what I think he's feeling. But like specifically, like nausea that comes when like you climb really high mountains, and I think that's like the same. Like it's all like an inner ear thing.
Seasickness. Yes. Okay. And she just gives a pat on the shoulder to Theowen of like,
Bless your heart.
no, I
That was the
There's
bless
this
your heart moment if
moment
ever I heard
though,
it.
like
Your
there's
magic
like this
lane.
there's this moment where like Theowen like touches her own ears, which are fairly like for an elf fairly long even, and she's like, I wonder if it's because mine are so big that I feel fine.
You full on here laughing at this point. It's very rare. I think that Genevieve will like gut laugh, but like, like actually,
My question here is like at this point, like the thing that we have like established in like Dragon Age canon is that like circle mages like know nothing about the world, they're not allowed money, they don't know about outside society, but the one thing that we do know about circle mages is that they do fuck. They're not allowed relationships, but they fuck, which just leads me to conclude that Theowen is doing some of this on purpose and taking advantage of the fact that we're all like, oh, little baby circle mage, and Theowen is just on purpose dropping all of these like fucking innuendos.
Theowen has never been to the circle and has
sorry,
never
no,
fucked.
Yeah.
you were gonna be taken to the circle and you never got
By
there.
Craig, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
It blew up, you know?
Yeah, real baby.
Oh, we should
They're
go
actually
there.
babies.
Yeah.
But Iviana will definitely be like, I've got it under control. We need to work on vocabulary. And then she
I need
will.
to what?
the moment you say vocabulary,
Well, that was a very Arlesia laugh.
it's so bad.
I just didn't hear that. Sorry.
Mm.
I
Oh,
need to what?
No, it's nothing. We just
Out of character, Val did not hear what you said.
Oh, gotcha. No, Aviana said that. Oh, we need to work on vocabulary.
Gotcha.
Uh,
And then Theowen probably did hear that and is gonna stop and go, sorry, I didn't have a lot of vocab lessons in the alienage.
You are completely fine. I more so meant certain words
She's
can
so
mean.
deadpan when she says that too.
Yeah. A human just elf.
I just want to. I'm going
Yeah.
to remind like, this human.
I don't mean it like that. I more so mean certain words can mean other things out of context.
Like what? What did I say that was wrong?
I feel like this is a private conversation. Let me go take care of Craig.
You brought it up.
Okay.
What did I say that was wrong?
Just
Nothing.
said
It was perfect. You should
It
do it.
was good.
Clearly
Saying
it's
it
something.
louder.
No, like what did I like? First of all, if I said something wrong, I need to know so that I don't do it again and embarrass myself or somebody else, or worse, harm somebody. Instead, y'all are laughing and like criticizing my vocabulary. So I want to know, like, what did I do wrong?
Nothing.
More so, nothing wrong. It just simply the phraseology that you used can be perceived as an innuendo. As I'm
Like
giving Craig the ginger
Oh.
chews and whatever.
I think you see Genevieve's hair come up, just like, oh, well, the bottom one was a good one. That made me laugh. And then the second one was a good one. I really laughed at that one. And then you kept saying it. And then she literally will list everything because you've asked. And like, you just see her counting on her hands with no just shame whatsoever.
Wait, so asking if you wanted the top or the bottom bunk was an innuendo?
Oh, you did not say bunk. You just said bottom.
But the bugs
that
were
was
there,
very
so why
funny.
did I have to point it out? That's why I'm confused. Like, contextually, like, he knows what I'm talking about. You should all know what I'm talking about. So I'm
You
confused.
are 100% correct. We just have terribly dirty minds. It's
It's
really
also
our
very
fault.
Yeah,
funny.
y'all should probably go pray to your maker or whatever. And I'm gonna leave.
Make a
Like,
And then you know what? And I think you even hear her just go, "Pie, what's else is this going to be quite?"
sorry.
Like the screen will kind of like blur out from you to like focus instead in the background, which is Craig sitting on the bunk, sad chewing a bit of ginger with a big fluffy dog in his lap, just like completely dissociating from what you guys are
We've all
talking
been
about.
there, Craig.
Yeah.
Aviana will go up to Craig and give like a little bag of the ginger chews and kind of give a pat on the shoulder to say, if you need anything, let me know. I have other things too, like a pressure point bracelet just in case. Just let me know, just so we don't have too many messes. If you need a bucket, let me know. I can help you.
I managed to make it to the over the side of the deck.
Yeah.
Haven't made a mess yet.
You are fine. We're here to help. And she'll
Okay.
just kind of give a little
How
pat
long
on
are
the
we going to be
shoulder.
on this boat for?
A while, dear.
Oh,
It'll
okay.
go by quickly. You'll get used to it. It just takes some time.
Okay. I'm just gonna lie down now.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Just kind of like slumps to the side to lay down, still holding the dog, who's quite content to just get cuddles right now. Very good. And as we kind of pan away from the room, we will pass Genevieve as we're doing, who is outside of this area, still laughing about something.
100%. Yep. She's
Yeah.
up on the wall, like just waiting for
Yeah.
Aviana to come back.
Yeah, we can go up and focus on Floor. What are you doing right now? There's a few, you can see that now that we're kind of like on the move, a few people have now eased off with what they were doing. And they're kind of going about their daily business, chatting with each other. A couple of them are maybe speaking to the additional party members that you guys brought, getting to know them. So you can kind of see there's quite a few people here up on this deck. What do you think Flora would be doing right now?
I think if Floor had the option, they would start trying to like pick up work. Because if the one Canary lady is already talking about them behind their back, there's probably plenty of sideways glances and whispers already starting, so they might as well be useful.
Yeah. It's yeah. She's at least keeping her thoughts to herself. The motivation behind it, you may discover eventually. But yeah, you can try and find work. What sort of job on board a ship do you feel that Flora would approach to offer their services?
Nothing heavy lifting, but they did grow up on the coast, so I figure they would at least have some passing knowledge of working on a ship, if only because their family, outside of Magistrate, is a merchant family.
Sure, yeah. You can go and approach a couple people. Rodala, who's the quartermaster, she is another one of the Kunari. She's still tall. You know, they're all tall. Not quite as tall as Rodala. And has white hair as opposed to the bright red. We'll kind of, as you're doing that thing that people do when you want to be helpful and you're not sure exactly who to approach or how to do it, and you kind of just like looking around a little bit, she will smile at you in quite a friendly way, actually, and kind of beckon you over to start helping with some of the things she's doing. There's a couple things that she's actually got a few books open, and she's like, "How's your math?"
A lot better than my strength. Good with maps.
Maps. Nice. You have experience on a ship?
Passing.
Hmm.
Family,
Okay.
business, and all.
What was the business? Merchants?
Partially.
Okay. Well, here, and she'll kind of spin around one of the books. If you can do some of those, and it's mostly just equations. There is certain weights of certain goods that she's kind of tallying up and then figuring out, and then there's like a cost conversion, and just offers it up to you. It's not something that feels private enough or a secure knowledge that she's not
Mhm.
worried about you kind of seeing and doing a bit of something helpful.
Day-to-day inventory kind of stuff.
Yeah. What's your name?
It's Floor, Aeneas.
Emeraldala. No surname. We don't tend to do those.
Should I only be so lucky?
Not a name you want to carry?
A name that carries a lot of weight. And not the weight you want to carry.
Some weights we don't have to keep carrying. We can let go of them.
Sometimes that's easier said than done when that name carries the weight it does. And I hate to admit it's with this kind of thing, it might actually be useful.
I see. Have you been with this group long?
A few months.
Hmm.
And you with your crew?
A few years. They're like a family now.
That must be nice.
Yeah, it is. Not a luxury I had before finding them. And they were kind enough to take me and one of the others on when we needed a bit of liberation.
I'm glad. Family I have is their own sort of problem, and I don't know any of my people well enough yet to call them that.
Maybe that'll come in time.
Maybe. I'd have to be a fool not to see the looks that I get given sometimes.
Well, I know how that feels. There are many people in this world that look at the likes of me and have a certain kind of expression. Think we're a bit scary, brutish. I imagine you get the same.
For many, many parts of me, yes. So I've yet to see any brutish or scary things out of you yet.
Well, much like your surname, sometimes it can be in my favor to have people feel just a little afraid. Sometimes.
The trouble of needful things.
But we're not We're not each one thing. We are the sum of many parts.
I try to remember that, but I'm sure you understand. Sometimes minds are made up the first time they look at you.
Mm-hmm. But what other people think of us is not always our responsibility. Sometimes the only way you can change minds is through your actions and proving that their assumptions are wrong.
Which is what I want to do. I just don't hold a lot of faith in people.
The people you're with seem open-minded.
Most of them do.
Well, I hope your time aboard the ship is a judgment-free time for you.
Thank you.
People here are open-minded.
I appreciate that, and I do hope that's what I experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sure that you will. I actually, well, I want to say I can't imagine it's easy carrying the weight of your countrymen and feeling judged for it, but for some people it is difficult to shake the way that they've been treated by a nation at large.
I know. I think sometimes the fear, the suspicion is justified. Not everyone that comes out of the country of Tevinter is good or right or just or anything more than a complete monster. It's just everyone forgets about the ones that aren't.
I met some who had some kindness. I spent most of my life there. There were some who were not what we come to assume, although they are definitely the minority.
Minority, or the fact that they forget what the rest of the world does. It's easy to grow up in something and be used to it without thinking of anything else. That was me for a long time, and I think growth is possible.
Definitely. I mean, you have to live in hope that something, maybe someday, will change. It's just difficult if the people don't want to change. Why change something that serves you? But you know, I've done a decent amount of traveling in the last few years and seen all sorts of people and all sorts of places, and it changed my outlook. And I've met people that don't look at me like a monster anymore. So it's possible.
I would like to think so.
Well, I need to get back to balancing these books. The numbers won't sort themselves. Thank you for your help.
Of course, just anything else needed. I'm here to
Yeah.
assist.
Just not the heavy lifting.
Weak little noodle arms.
That's fine. I have strong enough arms for everyone. And she'll kind of flex, and she does, in fact, have pretty strong muscles. There's a few of us on here, so.
That makes up for the 5 of my group.
Yeah, there's quite a few noodle arms in your party, I think. It's
Make up for it in other ways.
I don't doubt. I look forward to finding out about them.
For all it's worth, they're much better people than me.
It's all a matter of perspective. And she'll give you a smile, and then start to go back to her numbers. Let me just. No, we've still got a little bit of time. Let's put away and check back in with Matty. What are you doing?
Hi. I want.
What? I wonder what it is that meant that you were not aware of the shenanigans around trying to find Ginger. Something that's been pulling your focus.
Who would we say? Would we say that like Bessie is kind of the captain of this ship? Who's the
So the captain is Orthar, who is a big
Dilf.
He's the Dilf, yeah. He's the Jilf, actually. He's a granda you'd like to, yeah.
I'm sorry, please just tell me he looks like he's a Canary, right?
Yes.
Please just tell me he looks like a Canary version of Kurt Russell and like
Yes.
my entire.
It basically, yeah.
We went over this last time.
He's got the big beard.
Kurt Russell is the best version.
He's got like a neck that is definitely wider than his head. He's got these big old, like, because I imagine Canary horns, much like other horned creatures, the horns will just continue to get bigger the older you get. So he's got these big thick ones that actually chop off at the back. And although he is imposing in stature, he seems to have a fairly kind nature from what you guys have been able to see so far. So that's the captain.
So I think I would have like kind of gone up to him and like communicated that I was trained in medicine and that I was happy to kind of offer some like detailed checkups for the crew if they wanted one. Like I don't know if they already have a ship's doctor on board. If they do, I can assist that person. But if they don't, then I'm really happy to kind of step in and basically just be like, "Hi, I can do a health check."
He is gonna smirk a little and say, "We do not have a ship's doctor, no, and I would delight in offering them all your services. Feel free to do your rounds."
Don't worry, there is nothing that I haven't seen, and honestly, at this point, it's pretty hard to make me laugh. Most of the time, I work in the Kirkwall Docks and Darktown.
Right. Yep, I'm sure nothing will phase you then.
Oh, I'm expecting plenty of mess, but it's a really physical job. I find that a lot of sailors have kind of old injuries, things like scars, old fractures, folks with trouble sleeping, stuff like that. And I am very happy to provide any salves, ointments, any kind of alternate solutions that they might not have tried yet, as well as just the
kind of you.
Yeah, of course, it's my pleasure. You've all agreed to give us passage, so.
Yes. Well, I will see that you were given some manner of compensation for your efforts. Normally these things need to be paid for, and I'm happy to do so.
Thank you, but I will at least work at a heavily discounted rate since you are giving us passage, and besides, please pass the cash off to the Orlesian. She's, I don't know, does money things.
As Orlesians are wont to do.
Yeah, I think that's why we picked her. Something about like taxes and her ability to sort of move around them.
Creative with numbers.
Yeah, I think that's how she describes it.
Yeah,
Something slightly more unbearably Orlesian, I guess. That's probably some kind of like double entendre, but you know,
triple entendre if they're really working hard.
or if there's an Antivan around.
Yes, provided they are not at work actively in a duty, feel free to check in with the crew and see. It'd be good to know that they're all ship shape, if you will.
No, of course. I'll set myself up. Do you have any room that I can make private, just in case anyone has something they don't want to, have on public display?
Yeah, come with me. And he'll move to the back. So actually on the deck there is another door, and there are a couple of rooms here, 3 in total. One is his first mate, and the one at the back is actually where he would tend to like take his meals and have meetings and that sort of stuff. So he will actually move through the back and give you that space.
Wow.
And it's not, this isn't like a fancy shit. They're not like earning stacks and stacks of cash, but it's a comfortable little space with what is essentially like a dining table with a few chairs at it. A couple of them are like adorably mismatched, let's call it that. It's giving a vibe. And there's various little knickknacks that seem to be decorating the space, and they appear to be attached in a way so that the place feels like it's been decorated in a nice, almost kitschy way, but fastened so that they don't fall off during storms and what have you.
Can I look to see if I recognize any Ravani charms? Like any particular? Yes, I will.
Yeah,
do
so there is a cultural lore check if you want to look for something very specific culturally, but you can just do an investigation if you would rather.
Yeah, so I think it's just that like one of the kind of things in Maddie's background is that she's like close friends with a Ravani woman, and she's really interested in Ravani culture because of their like much more positive attitude to like hedge mages and folk magic and folk healing.
And women can empower it. We love it. We love it.
Yeah, exactly. Like but yeah, I could do a cunning roll or a perception roll.
Cunning or perception, it's your call. So the cultural lore comes from cunning, and if you're just doing a quick visual check, that's in perception.
I'll do a cunning roll. Oh, that is 11.
Okay. You can't seem to see anything that is uniquely and noticeably Ravani. Whether any of this was obtained in Ravani, you're not sure.
Cool.
But you can't see anything that stands out in that sense. There's a few things that are very noticeably for Eldon. There is a couple of things that are just obnoxious enough to definitely be Orlesian. A few things that are perhaps more from like the Antiva, maybe even into Devour kind of area. But most of it just looks like tat that really could come from anywhere. Yeah, things that have a little bit of character, a couple of figurines that maybe are like missing an arm, but they look, it's just, it's an interesting space.
I think like Maddie is like, oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you're not who is responsible for this decor, but it's unique.
I think like Maddie is like very respectful and careful in the space and doesn't want to like knock anything. I think she thinks that this is really sweet. Although she has her kind of typical stony resting bitch face kind of expression. But she politely thanks Orthar. And I mean like we'll see to the sailors. I think like part of the reason that she's doing this, apart from the fact that she would normally do this, is she's kind of hoping to see the Tevinter elf at some point. The one that Hope said had like this deep sadness. But she is like sincerely interested in offering help. Like she actually does want to be useful in the way the floor wanted to be useful. Like she's just like, yeah, we're on the ship, we should help.
So do you think you would be approaching people to let them know and offering that space for them, or do you think you would just be trying to encourage word of mouth for people to come to you?
Oh no, I think like Maddie's pretty brusque about it. So I think she probably goes out on deck, and I should say she definitely goes to Aviana, finds Aviana wherever she is, and is like, hey, I've set up essentially like a portable clinic thing so that we can offer checkups for the crew. I got permission from the captain author to do it. I'm just going to offer everyone just a kind of standard once over. But if you want a space to work in, we've been given use of like this cabin. I'll give you directions to like where it is. Just so you know.
No, that's fantastic. I think she's just getting done with Craig
Yeah.
as she's walking away. And
Mhm.
I will get set up and help out.
There's no big rush. I can see that you are clearly already preoccupied or have been, and this is the kind of day-to-day stuff that I'm pretty comfortable with. Getting my hands dirty with. If we need specialist help, I know who to ask. And then like kind of with a sincere and like slightly crooked smile, Maddie will like grin at Aviana and then turn around and go out onto deck and just stand in the middle of the deck and raise her voice and be like, all right, everyone, if you have been docking in questionable ports, if you've got a weird ache in your elbow, if you have got a fever that just won't go away, if you always have an itchy nose every spring, hi, I'm a healer. I'm going to be offering checkups for you. It's free. Don't worry. I'm not going to rob you. You're fine. And I promise there is nothing you can show me that will disgust or embarrass me. Mostly I work in Darktown. I assure you it will not be something I haven't seen before. I can see you privately. Orthar has very kindly given me access to his cabin. You don't have to worry about anyone else seeing you, and you can trust in my confidentiality. On my honor, also, most of you are heavily armed, so take that as your own reassurance. I cannot sword fight. But if you would like a checkup, please come to me. These are the kinds of things, especially old aches and injuries, which I imagine some of you might have. Those are the kinds of things that are going to get worse over time, especially with a physical job like yours. I can offer you something to make that a bit easier. All right. See you in there. And then Maddie will just not wait for a response. She'll just turn around and go into the cabin and wait.
Yep. And I think there's like a moment where like all of the crew are gonna like slow pan and look at Orthar, and he's just gonna look at them and be like, and he's like, and you need to go in and you need to check that because you've been complaining about that. And he starts like harassing them to go and do it, and they're like, oh, okay.
He really is that granddad.
He really is. So you a couple people will like willingly come in. In fact, the first person in is Betty, or Bethilda, the big Avar woman, who comes in and is very, very chatty and has you busy for like at least half an hour, just like, and then there was this and this part here, and then like every time I stretch it out, it like clicks, and then I have this little arch and this is a scar, or just everything. There's like this funny rash, and sometimes when I and just it was just.
I think when it comes to like bedside manner, like Maddie is like paying attention and like, examining everything that Betty brings up. But in terms of like just the small talk, I think that there's genuinely a thing where Maddie just kind of like gives a little bit of access to her mouth to Hope and just lets Hope like, do the kind of like, oh, really? Oh, that's so interesting. Oh, wow. Like whilst Maddie is like actually like focusing on doing all the stuff. Like Maddie's not completely listening.
And it seems like when she's doing it, she's mostly just listing off all of these things that have been troubling her, or that she's not sure if they're like medically a problem, and is the sort of person where like she's talking a lot, but she's not even like expecting answers from you. She's just listing these things and then figuring that you are triaging as she goes with the things that actually need addressed. But eventually she will go away. You see her harassing her wife, Maggie, who's the dwarven woman, because she has a rash, just kind of where like on the neck, just under where her facial hair is. Maggie seems disgruntled at the thought of having to come and see a healer about it, but Betty kind of insists, and she's like, no, she's really good, I promise, you just need to go, and like gets forced into the room with you.
It's my favorite kind of patient. Neither of us for 15 minutes. I give the instructions like curtly and bluntly and very concisely, and then it's done.
Easy. There's a few people who don't and insist that they don't need anything. Orthar is going to bring Bishop, who is the slightly more slender Canary with the dark hair, the one that we have dubbed as an as an emo Canary, who will be kind of like shoved into the room by Orthar, and it's actually Orthar who does the like, so this has been happening, and he's just going to basically talk you through the fact that Bishop struggles with sleep. And mostly you're getting like eye rolls and like you can tell that Bishop doesn't necessarily want to be there, and it's perhaps well, actually, roll me a perception empathy for me.
Perception, empathy.
Yeah.
I don't have empathy. Maddie is not a very empathetic woman.
What?
Well, she is, but she isn't.
Yeah. Bedside manners for chumps. I just treat people.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're not sure. He just seems disgruntled or pissed off, I will say.
Yeah, I
The
think.
face of it. Mhm.
I mean, I think like despite bad rolling and not being fantastically insightful, I think she is at least direct, and if there is a potential issue with the patient or like whatever, she will just kind of ask a few factual questions, and then look at Bishop and say, so just to be clear, you requested a companion to come into the clinic with you.
No.
Okay.
Made me come in here.
Right. All right. Well,
and like there's like a moment where he looks at him and he scowls, and like even without having to roll perception, just because of the amount of people that you treat, this is the behavior you would normally see between people who are related. It doesn't seem that they're actually related, but they are reacting in that kind of way. The way that Bishop is reacting and the way that Arthur are reacting to each other, it almost feels familial in a way.
Yeah. Okay. In which case, Maddie is going to look up, I assume up, regardless of how tall she could possibly be, at Arthur and say, Captain, could you please give us a moment?
Of course. Stay. Points at Bishop's face. And we'll go and leave and close the door.
I'm going to look at Bishop and say, you are entitled to refuse treatment. Regardless of how lovingly concerned your captain might be. And I do think it is loving concern. I am not going to foist any treatments on you, and if I give you anything, you don't have to drink it or consume it. I can suggest to you the risks and possible benefits of the different things that I can offer you, but there is no shame or pride in taking or not taking a substance. Your body is your own, and you get to choose what you do with it. If you would prefer to remain as you are, then you can remain as you are.
He like hesitates, so you can tell that there's something at the tip of his tongue, and he hesitates over it for a moment. Thank you.
You're very welcome. This is not a short journey, and you are very welcome to meet me more privately where there are less prying eyes, again, including the loving ones, if you would like to, if this makes you uncomfortable. I realize it is a somewhat public forum and people can see whether or not you're coming in here, and that might be uncomfortable. You don't have to make this decision today.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah. What is the treatment for sleep?
Try a couple of different things. It really depends on what's causing the lack of sleep. So, for example, a lot of the time it can be excess energy. So sometimes I would suggest like a couple of extra exercises to do that we would combine with some kind of soporific teas, like a medicinal tea or something like that. We can try scents for your pillow that might help you relax. Muscle tension as well could be part of it. So we can try some muscle relaxants, things that'll just help your body just kind of like loosen up that tension a little bit. Might be useful. Could also be something like light sensitivity or headaches. So we could look into that. It's going to depend a little bit on the circumstances. Then there are things like night terrors. Obviously, sometimes people have issues when they enter the Fade, when they dream. And we can investigate to the best of my ability whether that is being caused by some kind of malevolent forces in the Fade. And please don't worry, it's not like a demon is attacking you or something like that. Think of the Fade just like our world. It has, like midges, like that bite you in your sleep, itchy midges. Like the Fade essentially has phantasmal midges, and sometimes they might be keeping you awake at night by causing you bad dreams and preying on your mind. Typically, mages are going to attract the really scary things, but as I understand it, you don't have any magic, so you're not going to be in any trouble with anything big, but there might be something smaller that we could give you some kind of herbal remedy that'll help kind of dissuade those, keep the bad dreams away.
Okay. Well, I'll try some of that.
Bad dreams?
Sometimes, yeah.
It's important for me to ask, are the bad dreams connected to real things that have happened? Or do you think that they are kind of made up things that might happen, or scary things with monsters that aren't real?
Sometimes it's real things. Not always that's happened, but people, places that I know. But other times it's just, I don't know. I don't always remember it when I wake up.
It's okay, it's completely normal. Is this a recent phenomenon, or has it
No.
happened? No. Okay. Do you think you know why it started?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
You don't have to tell me why. Again, you have full control over what you say and when and if you say it. But it's helpful for me to know that it's real, and it's helpful for me to know that you think you know when it started. That would suggest to me that this is a result of, at least in part, a trauma of the mind rather than something phantasmal, for example. Or perhaps sometimes stomach illnesses can give people bad dreams too. But if we know that there is a specific moment of trauma, then that narrows down the treatments that I can offer you. So I can offer you something that'll help you have a dreamless sleep. It'll also help relax some of the tension in your body. And that should at least be a start. I will also recommend that you consider possibility of talking and or journaling about these things, talking with someone you trust, someone you know and you feel safe with. Keeping these things inside us, it's a little bit like the mind's equivalent of leaving rot in a wound. It'll fester and get bigger. It's better to share it if you can, but I realize it's not always easy. So, take it at your own pace. But sometimes journals are a good start. It's a private way to start getting it out a little bit. And Maddie will just start mixing the potion that she's described.
Mm-hmm. He seems to be watching you as you're doing it. And
she will tell him exactly what she's putting into it then. As he's watching, and be like, this is a little crystal grace. It is probably the most expensive thing in my herbalist belt. I got it from an Orlesian, I really can't say friend, Orlesian acquaintance of mine. These are some spices from Tevinter, which I was recently informed by a colleague have been used in medical treatments of similar disorders. And then this is, and she actually kind of almost smiles a bit and opens the little sackcloth pouch and offers it to Bishop for him to smell. I'm going to guess that you can recognize this one. And it's the familiar honeyed smell of elfruit, which should be a pretty distinctive smell in Theta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's a bit of elfruit and some spindleweed. Spindleweed, the whole... I don't know if you've ever heard the whole folklore about it growing where people grieve. It's not entirely true. I mean, maybe it is. I have not read enough magical theory, but the main thing is that people tend to grow it if they have bad dreams and issues with grief, because it's a really, really good palliative and soporific herb. So it'll help you sleep and it'll help ease some of the pain. Kind of mix it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you get paid for these things.
Your captain, I believe, is giving money to one of my acquaintances, and also I don't know if you've noticed, but your crew is giving us a ride. It's more than payment enough. You don't have to worry.
Okay. I appreciate this.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. See how this goes. Come back to me if it doesn't work. You want to give it a couple of days, let your body adjust. It won't work immediately, probably, but after 1 or 2 days, if you're getting any side effects or if you're feeling that it's not really effective, come back to me, talk about it if you'd like to. Again, if you don't take it, it's not my problem. It's your body. But you can if you want to.
Thank you. I'll let you know if it works.
I hope it does.
And he'll like stand up and take the product and put it in his pocket and sort of turn around and slowly shamble away. And you're at least starting to get the impression, although obviously the initial behavior around Orthar was hard for you to pick out, but again, you've treated so many people that you can tell that it seems like a lot of what is coming off of him, whatever face value people might attribute to certain things, it looks like there's just a lot of anxiety in the way that he handles himself. And you can see that the longer that you were spending time with him there. But he'll kind of shuffle on out and head out. And you can hear the bellowing voice of Arthur being like, "Who's next?" But as we conclude that scene, we're going to go to break, everybody. We will be taking about 10 minutes just to stretch our legs and hydrate and have a bathroom break and what have you. Recommend you guys do the same. But please do join us again after the break time in 10 minutes, please. Thank you. Bye, everyone. everyone. Welcome back. We are very well rested, and I hope that you are too. We're ready to dive into our second half of more shenanigans on the high seas. We've had emotions, we've had seasickness, and some interesting heart-to-hearts involving some of the slightly heavier issues that tend to happen around Thedas, but there are things that need talking about. As we approach into the second half, our first day at sea has concluded. The clinic, the pop-up clinic that was had, has run its course, and all but one of the crewmates made it up to you. Some didn't have too much necessarily that they needed looked at, but they were following the orders of their captain and did as he told them, so that he would stop nagging at them. Because he's basically the ship's granddad. So, night has fallen, and there are various things going on. Some people maybe have managed to find where they're going to be sleeping. Some of you may not quite be ready for bed yet and be up on the deck or anywhere else around the ship. It seems like the room where the pop-up clinic had been operating, the door that leads to the small little corridor that has the room at the end of it is open, and you guys are told that if you want to, you can head inside. There's not too many seats for everybody, but there is some drink being had, and that's certainly where you can go to get your food, and then you can take your plate away to eat it wherever you want. But it is still quite misty night. The day had cleared a little. The sun had, winter sun was able to burn away some of that fog. And it was a clear but cold day. And now that the sun has set, the temperatures have dropped again. We have that mist rolling in again. So there's definitely a thick fog. Thankfully, the crew of the ship are good at what they do, and they're able to hug the coastline enough and know the visual markers about how to make sure that they are safe on their journey. So we will dot around the crew of the ship to see where you guys are at. And what you would like to do. I do know that throughout that day, we had Genevieve wanting to go and find Flor. So I think we will start there, if you please. Flor, where would you be when Genevieve comes looking for you?
I think after Floor finished up helping with like the inventory math and everything, they probably claimed a bunk pretty quickly and settled themselves up on the deck somewhere near the bow.
Okay.
On my way to speaking with Floor, can I just make sure no one's around or within earshot?
Yeah. Give me a quick perception roll. Apply a focus should you feel it applies.
I only have searching and empathy and perception, so probably just straight. Perception. Let me pull up my roll 20. Yeah. 16.
Yeah. 16 is a good number. Yeah, you see that there's not too many people around Flora. There may be somebody who's just kind of passed by the area to head through and get themselves a drink, so you're left alone.
Okay. Yeah, she'll walk up. Oh, my dear grim friend. Do you have a moment?
I guess I do. And
It's
they'll like kind of tuck
important.
their book away that they've been reading.
Yes. So I've seen something that I believe you'll probably already know about, but I have more information about our lovely crew that is housing us. And a request, actually, of you and Audie, so you may speak to Audie about it, whatever you want to do. We are in similar company.
Oh, are you talking
Two of
about the
them.
mages?
Two of them, to be exact.
Big one, small one.
I actually don't know. Is the elf small? Sure.
I'm not actually sure if they're an elf or not, but
Yes.
I'll
So I
quote.
know the one that I saw was an elf, very pale. I'm actually a little worried about them, but there was a very honest and open chat to stay. The event is to stay away, and as I did reassure them that artificers are different. That's we understood.
Genevieve, I understand their concern to Venters. We can all be very, very different, and we're still the same beast.
Don't
The
know it.
warning is anything to think about. It's understandable.
And it honestly, I don't mean it as a warning. I just want you to be informed. And also, I told them that we have 4 mages and gave them more information than I normally would, but they seem very trustworthy. And since we're stuck on a boat together and cannot leave, I figured honesty would be the best policy here.
If they have mages on board, they already know who we are.
Yes. And I also asked if, we have quite a few Konoi here, about the Kyun. Are they, are they as they seem as well? And the answer was no. And I believe them. So I guess it means
careful who
none
you
of
tell
us
them
are who
to.
we are. Well, as no legion myself, I understand. But anyway, if you could, I have a request of you. 2, actually. You don't have to say yes.
I'm more wondering what's in it for me.
That's a
Don't
good
do free
question.
favors.
Well, they're not for me, if that helps. Is there something you would like? We don't have much.
We both know that's a lie.
No. They're for the good of the company.
What would you ask for in turn?
Oh,
This was
that's
you.
some idea. Maybe just a hug. I know you hate it. But I love you so much. Come on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The first favor is speak to Rawi about what I said to you as well. And trust me, I don't think that they are holding it against you. I think they're just worried about their friend. He seems very shy, scared. I'm not sure. But let's put it this way. He was doing fantastical things that most people would be impressed with in a room by himself with the door locked. Don't ask me how I know the door is locked, okay? It's fine.
Genevieve, you do know that can mean a lot of things coming from you.
Oh, I do. But I do mean it actually very straightforward in this case.
Which
But please
means
speak
that
to Kari about it. You would be much more welcome than me. I'll just tell him how handsome he is. He hates that, but it must be said.
that man is so vain, he enjoys it. He just won't tell you.
I know, but he could at least smile once in a while about it. It's very just honestly rude. Anyway, that is the first favor. The second favor is please inform the other wonderful mages that we have. If I say it, you know that only Aviana will be like, oh, that was very nice of you. The others will be like, oh, I can't believe you said this. Oh, you outed us. And, oh my God, now they're going to know everything. And there's too much energy today. I cannot deal with that. I'm trying to make a good impression and keep an eye out for all of us.
I mean, if you want to make it the easy way, just tell Craig and he'll let the entire ship know.
Yes, but sorry. This poor boy. I have to laugh a little bit. It's just so sad. Anyway, that's a fast story for later. Oh, that boy. Oh, he's so. You should go below deck. It's very funny. I'm sure it could be fine. Anyway, composure. Yes, if you could, go tell everyone. I would appreciate it. I will keep an eye out for the rest of us. And, in the way that I can.
I'm pretty sure they already know, but I'll pass the message along, Genevieve.
Yes, it's more about the specifics I seem to worry about. And again, it's not coming from me because I'm not dealing with that today. Tiny shipwreck can't have any alone time. It's horrible. Anyway.
I'm tempted to let you do it just to see if you get thrown off the deck or not.
I do like the drama, and I'm very quick. Do you want me to tell Matty?
Part of me feels like it actually might be the lesser of two evils coming from you.
I don't know about that. Oh, could I stop myself from messing with her about it? Honestly, I don't think so. It makes me very happy, and I could absolutely use some laughs. But for the good of the party,
You know she doesn't like me.
she doesn't like me either. Are you kidding me? I even thought about getting her one of those sturdy boxes so that we could put it for her so she could stand on it and then start monologuing for everybody and let everybody know how she feels about things. I mean, that box, I could even paint her name on it and make it very pretty. Well, not pretty, she doesn't like that, but straightforward and be like, Matty, soapbox.
You know, you'll have fun with it. I
will.
won't.
She'll be so mad at me. Oh, but she's so funny when she gets mad. It's very funny. No. Fro, she likes you better. I promise.
It's not.
Maybe equally, but at least you won't fight. She'll just be like, and like do hold the dumb face. Yes.
Genevieve, if I have to tell Harry, you are telling Maddie.
Oh, no, I'll take Holly. You take the others, okay? Please, at least I can look at someone very handsome.
No, this is my price of payment.
Can't you just have the hug? What else do you want? What could I give you?
Go tell Maddie.
How do I get the soapbox? Maybe Clifton will help me out. Then I can paint it. Oh, do you think that Theowen would help me with this?
I think if you spend the right way, Theowen will help you with just about anything.
No, definitely not. She's very mad. I tried to tell her the words that she said earlier that were number one, very funny. But number two, so inappropriate for most people. I mean, I did not blush. I actually laughed. It was very fun.
If you tell her you're making a gift for Maddie, she might want to join in.
I'll ask Aviana. She has much calmer energy. I'll talk to Sarah tomorrow about it. Anyway, please speak to Raleigh, and it'll be fine. I think she will start to walk away, but she'll run and give you a hug and just and be like, "Oh, you're just my favorite."
You ever see when you try and give a cat a hug that doesn't want it?
Yes.
Like this?
Yep. And it even has a scratch on top, just like, oh, you're my favorite.
Lovely. As the two of you go your separate ways to inform people about the various bits of information, let's go to Theowen first. You've been able to sort out at least where you're going to be resting. Craig seems to be, for the most part, just trying to nap. He did not. He chose not to eat the evening meal, but is keeping himself hydrated and is using the ginger chews and seems thankful at least for that. Occasionally, he'll try to get out of his bunk to come and offer you some kind of help, but it's a little wobbly.
It's okay. And Theowen is going to stay in the same room as him. She'll either take the hammock or the top bunk, probably the hammock, because she doesn't like being on top. She is afraid that she'll fall off. But as far as what she's sort of doing, I think maybe she's a little just exploring and poking around the boat, but particularly she's if she finds a secluded, quietish place, she'll just go and sit down, and she has a satchel, and she'll open it, and she has some little paints in it, and she's just gonna start doodling on the literal like this door frame or the corner, like just very like micro painting of like the tree in the Kirkwall alienage.
Mm-hmm.
With a little holla standing underneath it.
Sure. Sounds adorable.
It's
Do you
how
want
she
to?
regulates.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? And I get that. I'm not even gonna make you roll because this is something that you do often enough that I feel like you have your own kind of style for these sorts of things. And you're able to kind of sit and keep some quiet to yourself, certainly.
She is mumbling about vocabulary though.
Okay.
Like
Eventually
slightly.
rolling to like lay on his front and head resting on hands, Craig is just going to quietly watch you paint, and it seems that that sort of thing that two people who are perhaps have their own anxieties and issues, but also probably both neurodivergent. When you body double just quietly, you watch someone doing their thing, it makes you feel better.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, we know that. So
I'm the
he
absolute opposite though. When somebody else is doing something, it makes me nervous. It makes me want to do something because I feel like I'm being lazy if I
yeah.
don't.
Well, but you can
Yeah.
body double where two people are doing things. I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sitting and being busy, and then like if somebody's doing art, the sound of their like artist pen on it, listen, it's great.
Fair, yeah.
So it seems though that what you're doing seems to be calming him down. And eventually he's going to let out a bit of a sigh, which maybe reminds you that he is there, and perhaps alerts you to the fact that he's been watching you.
She sort of sits up and like looks over her shoulder.
You missing home?
Why would I miss a place that didn't teach me how to read? Like, or vocabulary.
Well, reading's overrated, I guess.
Oh no. Seems like how everybody gets their knowledge about places is through books or talking to one another, and not a lot of outside people coming to talk to you, and not a lot of books circulating. So
I didn't have a lot of books growing up either. I found reading quite difficult. I liked it when there was pictures in them, but
so you like children's books, like with pictures in them?
they don't always
like,
have to.
She just grins. Like,
Because he does. You know what? He will take the bait every time when you do
Yeah.
this. Like, they don't have to be children's book just to have pictures in them.
Mhm.
A book's just a book, you know.
She's
He
sitting
grumbles.
on the floor like cross-legged, and you know
Mhm.
how like you do that thing where you don't like uncross your legs but you do the full body turn to like face
Mhm.
someone?
Mhm.
I've made a decision.
Yeah.
And she points at the dog.
Yeah.
His name is Cloud.
Cloud. That's a nice
Mhm.
name.
Because he is kind of fluffy.
Does look like a cloud.
Mm-hmm. Thought about some other things like rations.
Yeah.
Or Flopsy, or
Flopsy. Oh, like a rabbit.
yeah, he just had like really floppy ears, but I was like, mm-mm. And then Blue, because of the color of his tongue, but he's not blue. He's like he's so blonde,
like
he's almost white. Like
cream.
Cloud.
Like a cloud, yeah. I was thinking because like cream puff could also be because like cream is the color and puff is like the fluff, you know.
You know what? We'll pretend his name is Cream Puff because I bet that's what a snooty noble with a high vocabulary would call him. But I'm not, so I'm gonna name him Cloud.
I don't think cream puff. I mean, I know what a cream puff is, and I'm not a snooty noble.
Yeah, but you wouldn't name a dog Cream Puff. That's what a snooty noble would name it.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Am I insulting you? Am I calling you a snotty noble? Are you insulted?
No, I'm not insulted because I was an urchin on the streets. I don't think I would ever be accused of being a snooty noble. But, I imagine snooty nobles might take offense to it because they might.
Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of deserve it, though, if they're being
Absolutely.
snooty. You know
Sort of
what? Fancy
her.
words don't add up to having a nice personality. So I think having a nice personality is more important.
But what if you have fancy words and a nice personality?
Well, then, good for them, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't have either of them, so
You do have a nice personality.
just like stops and like stares. And
You're
is
one of
like,
the only people that's like actually nice to me.
okay, but just
Everyone else
because
just teases me like all the time.
okay, but that's because you are my best friend and you are going to end me when the demon takes over my body. So being nice to you pays off, right?
I don't think that should be a qualifier for a friendship.
No, but I mean, it's not a qualifier, but it doesn't hurt. Like,
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's what I am.
sorry, I'm just not. I'm sorry. I should have. I'm not in a good mood right now. Um, because apparently I can't talk right, and um, and I
Is it making you feel self-conscious?
yeah. Because now I'm worried about like I already worry about like everything that I do. Now I have to worry about everything that I say being an innuendo of some sort. It's not my fault that they're always horny. And
Oh,
they take everything like that instead of just like as it is in the context of the moment.
well, yeah, I guess you're right.
Also, yeah,
Maybe that's just why we get on so well, because we're both constantly anxious and self-conscious about everything that we say or do.
I was about to say is because we're just constantly not horny. That sense about it.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Also, I should have gone to the aliens before we left.
Why?
Should have gone see mom.
Well, she'll be there when you get back.
We could die.
Yeah, that's like always true, though. You know,
I
even if
could
you're walking out a
die,
road on a
or
cart, and a horse and
I
cart could just
could
like run you over, and then you didn't get to
become
say
a
goodbye.
fear demon.
Yeah, well,
And then I'll be gone, and I would have never have seen her. But I guess I would have been dead in a demon, so it wouldn't have mattered. I wouldn't have cared if it already happened. It only matters because I exist as a person now.
yeah. Well, that's not going to happen because I am here to keep you calm and make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yes, very calm.
Yeah. Breathing techniques. It's important.
Yep, just fill up your lungs and let them out. How are your contents
My contents.
of your stomach?
Oh, non-existent. I think that's why I'm able to
Gotcha.
talk to you right now, because I don't think I'm in any danger of anything exiting out of me. But thank you for taking care of me and everything. It's normally the other way around, so it's been. I didn't even. Yeah. It was nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For what it's worth, I like the way you talk. I prefer it over others, so you know.
Thanks.
Yeah. If you started speaking like a snooty person, I think, you know.
Oh, my name is Madam Thagwin, and I am a professional artist, and I read the books and have the good vocabulary.
It's very nice to meet you, Lady Theowen. Might I say your art is particularly wonderful?
Thank you, peasant. Please admire my skill.
Peasant. Okay, yeah. Sure.
That's what they say, right? Did I say something wrong again?
Yeah, no,
I
you
thought
didn't.
we were role playing.
I was pretending to also be fancy, but it's fine. I can pretend to be a peasant.
I guess your fancy voice and
Here's my
fancy
dog.
voice. You had a different kind of fancy going on.
Oh, I've got a
maybe,
Starhaven fancy.
maybe you're
We're a
a
very.
Parisian.
Oh, no, I'm a I can't change my accent. I'm sorry. I'm from Starkhaven. Here's my dog, Cream Puff. Do you like him?
His name is Cloud. Thank you very much.
Cloud, that's not a very fancy pants name.
No, he's not. That's because he was named by a little creature from the aliens. Sorry.
Ah, yes.
But I had to keep it because that's what he answered to.
It doesn't look like he answers to much right now, to be honest with you. We really should train him, by the way, just to make sure that he's not, like, pooping everywhere.
Did he pee on you? Did he pee in the bed?
No.
I should probably take him out to go to the bathroom. I mean, there's nowhere to, like, take him on the boat.
Just hold him over the edge and just, like...
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's, like, a latrine in here. Do I just hold him over the latrine?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take Cloud over the latrine. I'm going to take the dog out for a walk to the latrine, to the powder room, excuse me, and let him do his business.
It's been very lovely to spend time with you, Lady Theowen.
I know. And, like, she's gonna, like, pick up the dog.
Yeah. Wunderbar. Yes, you're able to take the dog, and we the camera follows you out of this room as you head up and continues down and into the other section where there are beds. Where Aviana, you having come down somewhat, last in terms of picking beds. You have found that you're going to have to sleep in the other area, and there is only one other occupant there, which is where we can have a little scene and a conversation between you and Griffin. Who, how well would you say you know Griffin?
I think that Aviana would probably know Griffin well. I don't know if it's necessarily like everyone would know their friends, but they probably would meet up. And she also, like, she's a book nerd, so she loves the Grey Wardens too. So they probably have bonded over lore and history and things like that.
Yeah, he would have special interested at you. So yeah. Very good. So you can see him kind of setting up his bed, and again for the audience, we've got he's got brown hair, brown eyes, kind of little rugged looking with a big scar up his face, and he is setting out his stuff into his bunk. He's taken one of the higher ones, and we'll look over at you and give a little smile. Have had an all right day?
Busy. So many people needing medical care. Luckily, Maddie did most of it. I just kind of did the runaround work. And I think she'll kind of like plop herself down on her bunk and just like hold her head for a second of, I did not realize just how much effort walking on a ship would be.
Oh, right, yeah. Have you been getting on okay with that?
Uh, it's just a lot of. Honestly, I really haven't been on a boat like this on this big of open water since I was very little, and that time I wasn't even able to do the walking thing. So
Yeah.
it's a lot to get used to.
Keeping your balance. It's the reason why everyone on the ship has massive thighs, I imagine. It's just constantly keeping your balance on something that's moving all the time.
Oh, I have tripped. I don't know how many times.
Yeah. Are you
I
okay?
I mean, she's probably like just absent-mindedly kind of gets out an ace bandage and is wrapping an ankle that is probably quite swollen after
Yeah.
tripping so many times on this godforsaken boat. But she just just a normal I everything hurts. I think
Oh,
she'll finally come out with.
is there anything I can do?
But it's just getting through. As soon as I've wrapped stuff, it'll feel better, and then I'll just pass out, and then it'll feel fine. So
Yeah. Have you got painkillers and stuff?
yeah, I just don't like using them. It's
That's
not
fair.
a bad thing. It's just I like to make sure my mind is clear in
Hmm.
places I'm not comfortable with. So
Yeah, that's an extra layer of things for you all to be worried about.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What's going on with you? We haven't had our. I know I've been a lot busier lately, and we haven't had our normal tea time chats. So
yeah. Yeah. Things are fine. It's nice to get out and about. Um, just have a bit of uh active jobs, you know. It's nice to get out. Plus, you know, we're heading to Wycombe, which is pretty exciting. So
good place. Heard really good things.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it has a reputation, obviously, so that carries with most people. I just, well, you know me. I like to learn about the history, so
Yeah.
so yeah.
Give it any more thought?
Uh, no, no, not really. Kind of a stalemate's the wrong word, but
Okay. Here. She's gonna kind of stand up. And she gets out like one of her notebooks. Pros, cons. All right. Let's do this.
uh,
You need to make a decision.
I know. I guess I don't have to make it
So,
right now.
not necessarily right now, but even if you wait too long, then life just passes you by.
Yeah, yeah. I get, you know, I'm still getting to do a lot of good in the job that I'm in, and a broader sense of good.
Okay. That's
It's
a pro.
yes,
All right.
and you know, we're helping my hometown specifically, which is great. Um, it's highly unlikely there's going to be another blight in my lifetime.
There's always things to be done on that front.
Yeah, I know. I think, you know, it's just, do I come down to being realistic about it in that it would be great to be like the heroes I grew up reading about, and aspire to be that, or just, you know, be a different type of hero, different version. Not everyone gets to do that, and I don't want to join up and then just have it be a lot of sitting around and very unglamorous. I mean, they are rebuilding things in Ferelden. They've got new base operations now. I keep wanting to go and visit, but like, they don't just let the general public in. And I would miss you all.
Kind of like puts her hand on her cheek. Oh, you miss us all. Yes, you're going to miss us all so much.
Yes, I will, because a lot of you are my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't know anyone if I joined. Don't listen. Which is the more unrealistic thing I want for my future? Because they both feel pretty.
You won't know unless you ask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just don't want to spoil things.
Griffin, I don't think you can do that.
It would make it really awkward if she doesn't feel the same way, though.
Okay.
Let
me just. I care about you a lot, and I'm just going to say this. A no is a no, and then it's over. But if you just wait, and then you never know, and then you're just prolonging that awful feeling. Don't do what I do.
You need to take a leaf out of your own book.
Oh, I'm great at giving advice. I'm terrible at taking it.
Well, if I do mine, will you do yours? Speak into them, I mean.
Sure. I will need proof, however.
Okay.
Deal.
And you know what? Being on the high seas is the perfect time for it, because neither you or I can escape this.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? If it goes poorly, we're not staying in the same room as them.
Exactly. So. We can just drown our sorrows together.
Wonderful. That sounds great. And I guess it would make the decision for me.
I'm just gonna kind of just give Griffin a hug.
Yeah, he'll return the hug and just kind of. He's like a good hugger. You know how some people do like that? I'm just reciprocating what you're doing, and then there's people who like actively want a hug. He's giving you a proper hug.
And I'll just like tussle his hair up, just kind of like get like a big sister would getting him all like straighten out his little vest that he has on or whatever tabard or armaments and dust him off. All right. Seize the day. I
appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, seize the day.
Or night, as it were.
I'm gonna go have a drink. Be back. Not a lot, just enough to.
You need to be able to string sentences together, dear.
Yep.
You need me to write out a note card. I can come up with.
It's fine. You know what? It's fine. That would be, could you imagine just being like, excuse me a minute. I'm just gonna. I've said that already.
I can because I've done it before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm a meddler, dear. I'm sorry. I can't help it.
I don't need note cards. Thank you. Thank you, though. Okay. We shook on it. You have to.
Mm-hmm. And she's got a finger twisted behind her back, fully just.
He's gonna turn around and walk away and go and try and find some booze. Very good. We are now gonna shift to, in fact, just before we do the one with Maddie, could I have something that I want you to witness? Floor. You've been asked to go and speak to Harry. Even if it's just a short conversation, are you likely to try and find him tonight? Or would you be leaving it for a bit?
How late is it?
It's like nighttime. We're probably talking the equivalent of like 10 o'clock. People are still awake, although there
Yeah,
are
I
those
think-
who are starting to retire.
I think they would just get it out of the way, especially since Harry seems more like a night person to begin with.
Yep. It's the perfect time to brew. There's already shadows there. Yeah, you can go and find Harry.
Underneath your
He
crow's nest or something.
he is actually speaking to the person that you had a conversation with earlier, Radala. They're having a bit of quartermaster to quartermaster chit chat. But he will kind of look your way as you are approaching, even if you don't mean to like interrupt what they're doing. He'll still just kind of give her a little nod of the head and saunter over to you. Is it me you were looking for, or was it her?
Unfortunately, I have been sent as a raven.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Is it a conversation I need to let you get back to?
No, it's fairly casual.
In that case, apparently it's something that me and you need to be aware of that others don't. Flora's just kind of going to walk out of the room.
Yep, he will follow suit.
So we have, to our great country's reputation, been warned away from the small one in the cloak.
Okay. Any specifics?
You know, rar, evil Tvinters. Probably more me than you.
Yep.
And
Although we all get judged by the same merit. But yeah.
I'll need to be looped into the same boat after all. But based on what I've heard and seen, closer to a situation that you were in than not.
Yeah. What kind of experience stays with you? But I will provide as much distance as they need.
Maybe that's better that they talk to you if they have to talk to one of us.
Yeah. And if that happens, I'll explain about both of our situations.
You don't need to explain about me. I'm practically the boogeyman.
Yes. But you know, some boogeymen are friendlier than others.
Oh, is the world ending?
Could be. With this kind of fog.
For you to call me friendly, it has to be.
I didn't say you were one of the friendly ones. But you're not the kind that this person has to be afraid of.
Of course I am. I have been weighed and judged and determined by many people on this ship. And it's not quite worth trying to change their mind when they've already settled on it. Just keep doing what I've been doing.
Yep, it'll be a long process to detox from the world that we came from.
Detox it, destroy it out of my body. It's already been a long road, Harry. It's never going to be enough for some people.
No. But when you understand the situation that led to that trauma happening in the first place for that person, you have to be humble in accepting the fact that you may remind them of it.
And I understand that. And that's why I'm prepared to make myself as scarce as possible around them. I'm every bad nightmare that they've had. Stuck on a ship with them.
Yeah, well, that may be true. But, you know, eventually they're going to start seeing the world, and some of us are doing our best to make things better.
I'm trying.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I don't judge you the way I judge the others of our people.
What do you judge me by?
Your actions. If you were like them, you'd be back home already by now. You would be taking advantage of the status and power that your birthright has granted you. You would still subjugate people like me or people like that who did figure. But you don't.
The problem is that I could have very, very easily if paths had not been different.
Mm-hmm. But what counts is that you didn't. Eventually you'll believe it too. And he'll give you a little wink and we'll turn around and walk away.
Just gonna roll their eyes and
okay. So we come away, and for whatever reason you choose, Matty, you may find yourself on the deck of the ship. It's a fairly interesting night. There's something about low-hanging fog when you are at sea that could, for many people, it could be, you know, chilling and quite creepy, but there's just a certain aroma to it and this really unusual quiet and stillness, because sound travels very differently when you are in a dense fog in the middle of the ocean. As turbulent as the waking sea often can be, it's somewhat quiet at the moment. And it is because of that stillness and the unusual way that sound travels that you become aware of a couple things. Visually, you will notice Bishop, who is sat up on the deck. He is perched somewhere near the front, probably sat on top of a crate, cross-legged, looking almost meditative in a way in the body posture. And he's talking quietly and to himself, which there's very obviously nobody around. And it is as you may get closer that you start to hear the words of what he is saying. And I have a specific section that he is reading. You will recognize that eventually, as you start to pick up some words, that it is an excerpt from the Chant of Light, but a very specific early section of it. Eyes sorrow blinded, in darkness unbroken, there upon the mountain a voice answered my call. Heart that is broken, beats still unceasing, an ocean of sorrow does nobody drown. You have forgotten, spear maid of Almar, within my creation, none are alone. And you can hear him sort of like in a meditative way, repeating those words to himself. It's up to you how you wish to approach this moment.
I think Matty just clears her throat, like to alert him to her presence. Like she doesn't want to trespass on his privacy. And then kind of like steps out of the darkness with her hands raised, palms forward. It's like, I like that verse. It's better than anything revealed to Cornelius Dracon, but I mean, I've never been a fan of all lesions.
He like there's a moment where after the clearing of the throat there was just like dead silence as he just stopped what he was doing. It's almost like he completely froze, even holding his breath for a moment, and then just becomes aware of your presence. And as you speak, he kind of there's like a half smile at the comment that you make towards the end, although he still looks a little uncertain of himself. Yeah, I don't really like the later stuff either.
I have always found myself to be a great fan of heresy. And Maddie kind of sits down on the deck near Bishop, but not too close. And she kind of pauses for a moment and just takes in the sound of the waves and the feeling of the cold air. And then reaches into her utility belt of pouches and herbs and everything, and pulls out a very battered pocketbook. Have you ever heard of how familiar are you with the dissonant verses?
I've heard of them. I don't get much chance to expose myself to a lot. It's not common for people like me. We're not really welcome, and I've picked up some books where I can, but
where did you grow up?
Not far from here.
In the Marches. So presumably outside the Cune, were you with a Talvashoth group, or were you out on your own?
No, I was with a Talvashoth group. At least for a while, and then we were attacked, and I was on my own for a little bit until Arthur found me.
I'm so sorry.
It happens. When we live outside of the Cune, they'll often come and want to get rid of us. We're an affront to everything that they are.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I escaped my circle before it was accidentally set on fire by some Templars in the city. And it just so happened that the royal family weren't able to assemble any response in time. The survivors were sent over to Kirkwall. You'll have heard about that. But it's it's a strange thing, knowing that there are places of shelter and songs of peace to which you are not entitled because you are monstrous.
Yeah. I always found in the stuff that I did read, or the stories that I heard, sometimes we would transport people who were faithful, and it struck me as strange that dwarves and elves and people like me are not welcome in the church, because it seemed like that's not something she would have been cool with. She seemed more open-minded than people these days would give credit for. And maybe that's just wishful thinking, but I don't know.
It's there are many histories of the Chant of Light. Each set of verses has its own origins. The one you were quoting is one of the oldest, with corroborations in other texts, specifically Alamari texts. And I don't know how much you know about the Avar people, but
I've been taught some by Betty.
yeah. Oh, she seems like a character and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, based on the available evidence, we have pretty good reason to believe that Andraste was an elf and a blood mage who was possessed by a spirit, and led a rebellion against Tevinter. So, in many ways, the version of her church that exists today would execute her. The most famous chant from the Chant of Light is the Canticle of Exaltations, which was revealed to Emperor Cordelius Dracon, who just so happened to be the first Orlesian emperor. And it just so happened to emphasize monarchy and empire and the regal entitlement of the pure and faithful to rule over all others. It wasn't until the Exalted March on the Dales that the chantry announced that elves are born further from the Maker's light, more impure, more unclean than humans. And it was only after the Exalted March that they recanted the Canticle of Shartan and made it one of the dissonant verses.
Yeah.
The chantry as it exists, in my opinion, is an object of empire in the same way as a book or a newspaper might be. It's taxation and Orlesian castles, and the fact that Templars are standing armies in every city across the entire continent, despite the ostensible idea that each kingdom is independent, is yet more evidence of that.
It gives them an excuse to control people.
Exactly. Viscount Perrin Threnhold, who was the predecessor to Damar, tried to apply taxes to Orlesian ships coming into Kirkwall, and the Divine told him that he couldn't. And when he said no, her Templars stormed his office, the Viscount's Tower, and he was arrested under the authority of Grand Cleric Althena, who, in a trial only attended by herself and Knight Commander Meredith, announced that he was guilty of treason. And a few weeks later, he died before Knight Commander Meredith, in an unprecedented move, decided to declare Viscount Damar the new ruler of the independent state of Kirkwall, and certainly not a vassal of Orlais. I think that the world and magic and divinity and faith are much bigger and more complicated than what we have been told they are.
Yeah, a lot of what I'm told and the world that I live in would like me to feel like I am wrong and monstrous. And I'm glad when I found this crew, because I learned that that wasn't true. And I don't talk to much people about faith, because even amongst my own kind would feel wrong for me to feel that way. But she helps me sleep. I don't think she would think I was wrong.
I don't think so either.
I don't think she would think you were wrong either. For what it's worth.
It's worth plenty. Thank you. It's... May I... and Maddie kind of wiggles her fingers in a, like, could cast magic gesture, but I won't do it unless you say yes, in a way.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We live with mages here.
We had noticed, but I still like to ask permission. People can be jumpy for all kinds of reasons. And she'll click her fingers. She's not actually going to do a spell, just like summon a wisp. And in the kind of light of it, say like, you can use most things to do anything with enough determination and perseverance. You can make a rock into a hammer or an axe or a piece of art. You can use a knife to kill someone. You can use it to save their life. You can use it to chop a potato. And all that we know, everything that is, exists within the sphere of reality, right? And if we assume that there is some divine creator, something more powerful and bigger than us, or creators plural, if there actually was something bigger than the Fade, bigger than Thedas, really, that individually made every single person, have you ever tried to imagine the detailed life of every single person you've ever seen? Walk down a street in Kirkwall and look at every single one and imagine that all of them are as complicated and sympathetic and empathetic as you personally are. Imagine all of their relationships and every small thing that happened to them and every tragedy and every victory. In all that immensity, in the scope of creation, anything is possible. But nothing that exists within reality can be unnatural or unreal, because you exist for a reason. You were made, you were brought here. If there is a divine being, you're here on purpose. And if there isn't one, it doesn't matter, because you exist as part of the fabric of reality. And your bones and my bones will become dust. And then that dust will feed new grasses and wheat and bread, and that bread will feed new people. And some of those people will be like me, and some of them will be like you, and some of them will be like neither of us. And then again, we will become stardust, and we will become the ocean, and we will become the flowers in the fields, and we will become the birds in the air, and we will become every single piece of everything. And isn't that God? Isn't that divinity? You exist, and therefore you cannot exist wrongly, simply because you are here.
I think if everyone felt that way, this would be a really beautiful world.
I don't think that we are as far away from that as you might imagine. I think most people want to be kind. There is both an Orlesian and a Tevinter in my group. And I know I don't have a very strong Sarkavan accent, but I am not typically a great fan of either of those nations. And both of them are trying so hard to be kind. There is a young woman here, a young person here, I apologize, who was going to prison. And I think that the guy who arrested her might be a puppy reincarnated into human form. But I'm also pretty certain that he is never going to ever hurt them, ever. There is someone here who every day that she moves, she hurts. Do you know how infuriating pain is? And how exhausting and abrasive? That, like, endless, tedious grief of constant pain. And all she does is try to be kind. Your crew seem like a remarkable group of people. But you have to assume that if one person can do this, then more than one can. I reject the premise that any of us are that special that we could be uniquely kind. I think kindness is much more common than we realize.
In my travels, I find the kindest people seem to be those that are traveling out with their little bubbles and meet others, whatever that other is, and learn everything that makes up this world and how different we all are, and that it's not only okay to be different, it's good to be different. I've met some really beautiful people traveling, and I think that's why I keep the faith that I have, because we are all different, and that's kind of the beauty of it, really, isn't it? And, you know, you're never going to get to that perfect world where everyone and everything is amazing, but why would you stop trying? Because you have to get it as close to that as possible.
There is a section in this book, and Matty passes him the book. It's a copy of the Canticle of Shatan. And she says, it's one of my favorites. When Andraste recruits Shatan, he says that he will not work for her, but he will work beside her to free his own people. And she kind of flips through the pages. It says, at Shatan's word, the sky grew black with arrows. At Our Lady's 10,000 swords rang from their sheaths. A great hymn rose over Valerian fields, gladly proclaiming, those who had been slaves now were free. We can do anything if we work together.
Yeah. Thank you for this. I see a lot of her in you, and not just because you're helping me sleep.
You haven't seen me talk to the Orlesian yet.
I look forward to it. And on that moment, as a chuckle sounds out from the two of you into the still, quiet night air, we will end our session there, everybody. Well done. Round of applause, everyone. We are definitely out at sea, and I'm sure everything will remain just friendly and calm and chatty next session. Don't worry about it. we are going to be doing our rounds of outros here, where we will let you know who we are, who we have been playing, and where you can find us. We will be doing it in the same order that we did our intros. I will start with myself. I am Emma Hamalu on the internet, she, they pronouns. You can find me, Hamalu, on all of my socials. On Tuesday, episode 3 of our podcast, Black Teeth, which is using the liminal system, will be coming out. It has been great. It is folk horror set in rural Wales in the 70s, and it's great, and I love it. Also on Tuesday, we will be having the premiere of another Dragon Age game that I'm running on that same channel, which is Transmissions, and you will see a certain Tar in there playing a very different character. So yeah, tune in there. That'll be an exciting time had by all on Tuesday. Other than that, you'll see me here next week with these fine people. So if you guys can just let us know who you are, who you've been playing, and where we can find you, off you go.
Will do. Hello, I am Torin, or Torin Talks Creativity on Twitch, which is the easiest way to find me. My pronouns are she, they. I've been playing Genevieve Devour, whose pronouns are she, her. And to be honest, there's just too much. So definitely go look at my Twitch, and there's actually a schedule that makes it really nice. But you can find me again at Torin Talks Creativity.
Hi everyone, I am Valdranth, everywhere on the internet. This is all I'm doing for like a month because I'm technically on break from my own space as I switch over seasons, and because I also still don't have internet at my new apartment. But yeah, just give me a little follow on the Twitters and the Blue Skies and wherever's, and you can figure out what I'm doing coming this summer. And I also played Theowen. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Alice. You can find me everywhere online at Alice Hart, or if the adult film star has stolen that username from me on yet another platform, you can find me at Hellion Hart. I use they them pronouns right now, and today I played Florineus, who also uses they them pronouns. April is a little bit of a slow month for me as I get some stuff planned, take some time off, lose the rest of my 20s. But so my next thing outside of this every Sunday is on April 20th. I'm going to be joining Lost Caravan to play some probably not high, but who knows, Fallout. Otherwise, kind of keep an eye out on social media if you like to follow me there to see what I will be in next, because some stuff is going to be coming out soon.
Hi, everybody. I am Mary. My pronouns are she, her. Today I have been playing Eviana. Her pronouns are she, her. As far as where you can find me, you can find me online on the Hell site at Nerd on Wheels 15 or everywhere else at the Nerd on Wheels. Coming up for me, every other Monday, you can catch me on Lost Caravan for Lancer Hell's Gate, a Lancer RPG actual play, where next episode, we're only one of the party is alive and trying to get us to be able to escape our mechs because we're all unconscious and it's going to be scary. But go check out my Murder Marshmallow there. Every other Wednesday, you can catch me at Enchanting Sorcery Productions for Fandelver and Below, Halia's Harriers, where I play a rogue cleric with a memory gap, and we just found out who her deity is, and it's really scary. So go find that out. And I've got other stuff at the end of the month, but that's what I've got for this week.
Wait, is it already me? Wow,
It
sorry.
sure is.
I think I was looking at our producer and I was like, oh, someone else needs to go. And I was like, wait, no, that's not. Never mind. Hi, I'm Ella. My pronouns are she, her. I can do this. I was playing Matty, whose pronouns are also she, her. I can be found on the internet at GEJ Watts on the various social platforms. And I'm making an audio drama podcast called Camlan. It's a post-apocalyptic queer series. And the 7th episode is out tomorrow. It's a 9-episode series, so we're kind of getting towards the end with some like big revelations and stuff. So yeah, hopefully people will like it. Yes, and I'm not sure if I should mention the other?
Sure, you can do that just now. I was going to toss it to you at the end, but you can do it now.
No, well, I mean, what?
Do it.
Okay, God. I'm going to be GMing a campaign for Girls Around These Worlds, and I'm sure that this whole last 5 minutes has really instilled a lot of confidence in you all and my ability to do that. It's going to be based on a really great system called Legacy: Life Among the Ruins by Mina McJanda. And the premise is that you play as generations of people in a community surviving in a post-apocalyptic world. So each session you play a character who's part of like a community or sect. So for example, like, you know, the Fixers or the Mercenaries, whatever. And then the next session you kind of inherit like, you know, the grudges and the favors and everything that your ancestor did for someone else's ancestor, and you then play out that drama. So each session is like someone's life in this kind of like decades following the end of the world. The campaign's going to be called Rust, and we'll be putting out a casting call pretty soon.
Yeah, I believe it is now officially live. There was a tweet about it, and it is also up in the Discord if you guys are members there. But yes, please do consider it. Other things on this channel, we have some upcoming shows. The times I am mentioning are all Eastern time zone. So every other Wednesday at 8 p.m. is Roll for Luck. Join our long-running anchor show for the Sapphic homebrew world of Am Algarth, with Girls Run These Worlds founder Ryu as the Drungeon Mistress. It is a great game. Definitely check it out. Fridays at 8 p.m. join the high fantasy, high-tech, high-flying Numenera adventure Erwin with our own Angela, who is just an incredible human being. And also Torrin is in it as well. Hey, Torrin. And on Sundays, 3 p.m. Oh, it's us. It's us and our wonderful show here at Dragon Age. Please do come back and check us out. We are going to be having some shenanigans on the high seas, and then we're sticking it to the Templars, who definitely deserve it. In terms of your own story ideas, the Creator app is always open. So if you have a story that you would like to tell, the Girls Around These Worlds group here want to help you tell it. So find out more information on the website, girlsaroundtheseworlds.com, and pitch your idea. So yeah, if you have a story noodling away in your head and you just really want to get it out there in the world, consider replying. But other than that, we are not going to be rating today, so just give yourselves a big old pat on the back or a hug and hydrate your and what have you. Love yourselves. We love you, and we love each other. And we will see you here next week, everybody. Take care.